I'm John Sicotte, executive editor of the Brewer Magazine. Welcome to another edition of the Brewer Magazine podcast. We are sponsored by Keg Logistics, and you can find out more by going to keglogistics.com/brewermag for all those details. And of course, make sure you're liking and subscribing to our YouTube and Spotify channels to keep up with the Brewer Magazine podcast, or you can head on over 24 hours a day. We're available there for you at brewermag.com for your business resources for the craft beer industry. All right, well, just down the road from me, actually, here in Northwest Ohio, is the city of Sandusky, which you may have known, from Tommy Boy, or maybe if you're a roller coaster enthusiast and know about Cedar Point. But just a little bit west of there is Catawba Island. It's not an island. You'll hear more about that. The Lake Erie shores get about 7 million visitors a year, so it's actually a destination area in the summer. And a brewery opened up 7 years ago called Twin Oast Brewing. In fact, just in the last week, Outside Magazine named it one of the 8 most beautiful breweries in the country. There's been a lot of people that have shown up there that we didn't even know that was there until after they were. Peter King from Sports Illustrated being one of them. And we'll be talking with Cory Smith, who's one of the founders of the brewery here on the Brewer Magazine podcast. But why are we talking about this? Well, as a destination area, money is made during the summer, and they have 3 major events that go on to kind of start the summer, end the summer, and one in the middle. Oastoberfest is one of their big ones coming up. Well, we talked to Cory about the strategic purpose of their festivals and events, the operational and logistic complexity that it takes to be able to pull off 3 big events that are big kind of money makers for the brewery through the whole year, along with working on marketing and audience engagement. So those are some of the things that we're talking about here, of course, having some fun as well. So check it out right now here on the Brewer Magazine podcast. This Brewer Mag podcast is sponsored by Keg Logistics. Now's the perfect time to review your keg management strategy. Whether you're seeking a truly flexible keg rental program or intrigued by the seamless distribution freedom of paper fill, Keg Logistics is ready to craft a personalized solution for you, ensuring you receive the kegs you need precisely when you need them. For details, visit keglogistics.com/brewermag. Keg Logistics, modern solutions for keg efficiency. Well, here we are at Twin Oast, and it's on Catawba Island, but Port Clinton is the technical address.
It's all confusing. It's not even really an island, but it's Catawba Island.
That was the next thing. Like, everyone's like, "Oh, cool, you guys are on an island."
You got to get a ferry there? No, there's no ferry. There's no ferry.
Nope.
But there's a little space where there used to be water that connected. It used to be an island. Now it's just a little causeway or something like that. But it works.
The Lake Erie Islands are that way.
Right
that
there.
way. So anyway, I'm John. This is Cory, and he is one of the proprietors of Twin Oast. You like that word?
Proprietor. I like that. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
And we're here at Twin Oast, and the big thing that I wanted to talk about with you is the fact that you guys you are, I guess, seasonal would be a very good way to say it.
Very.
Summer is definitely your time.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of planning for it, but you guys have the Apricot Fest, QuinStock, Oastoberfest. It's all within, 12 weeks of each other?
Yeah.
3 major events. You guys got the space for it, but it's got to be, holy cow. Like, did you say, okay, we're going to capitalize on summer, and we have to do it this way? How have these 3 events kind of become some cornerstones of what Twin Oast does?
Well, I mean, that's exactly right. So to kind of give a little bit of context about how seasonal things are, we have 3,000 people that live in Catawba year-round. But the Lake Erie Shores and Islands area, which we're considered part of, has, I think, 7 million people that come through every summer.
Wow.
And so it literally goes from, it's 100% down to like 20% or less when we get to the off season. I mean, I always tell people there are Saturdays in the summer that we do more than like a month in the winter. Like it's chaos. And so for us, we realized, we're trying to be a destination brewery. We want all these people to come here. And so we wanted to capitalize while they're here to get 3 at least big days every year. And so, Apricot Fest kind of made sense. We are on, this isn't technically the farm with all the apricots. We have a few trees here, but our farm down the road that's a family farm is one of Ohio's largest apricot farms. Mm-hmm. And so when I was home brewing, I always made an apricot beer. And so we said, let's scale that, make the beer release, and celebrate the apricot harvest. So that's always like first or second Saturday in July, depending on how it falls.
Gotcha.
And that's really kind of the kickoff for our summer.
Yeah.
I mean, June, people are starting to come in, but it's still, people are doing graduation parties, and
Sure.
there's still some things going on. So that first kickoff to summer where everyone's here and there's no early summer vacations is right about Apricot Fest time. And it's always the biggest spike in our year.
I bet.
Yeah.
And then you guys just wrapped up with QuinStock. A lot of people probably don't understand outside of this area what QuinStock means, because obviously the first word goes to Woodstock.
Right.
But QuinStock is something that is well established in this area.
Yeah. So we actually just had our 20th anniversary of the first QuinStock.
Yeah.
And so QuinStock, my dad's name is Quinn, and he had a little bit of a midlife crisis when he was turning 50. He was trying to figure out, how he wanted to celebrate. It's a big number. He was excited about it.
Yeah.
And so he brought all his friends from junior high and high school back to the area. He brought, he wanted to have this big blowout party for his 50th, and he wanted to call it QuinStock. My brother is in a band, so he was like, we'll have my brother's band headline it. He ended up bringing in 2 smaller acts to start the day.
Yeah.
So in our backyard, he built a little stage. He had 3 bands playing. We had a whole block party, and it was so damn fun that we were like, you know what, this can't be a one and done. This has to be something we do every year.
Nice.
And so with that kept going, and actually, I'm pointing to the stage over here where QuinStock was.
Yeah.
That stage was built before the brewery was built because we wanted to have QuinStock on the farm with so many people.
Yeah.
So this is, the brewery's only 7 years old, but we've had, I think, 15 QuinStocks in the past 20 years.
It's fantastic. So. And we're drinking it right now. Prost, your guys'
Yes.
Oastoberfest. Cheers, by the way. We didn't
Cheers.
even start with
Yeah.
that. So tell me a little bit about, obviously everyone does an Oastoberfest. You guys got to play with the name. It's called Oastoberfest. But it's obviously got to be another of those keystone, great way to wrap up the kind of the end of the summer for you guys.
Exactly. So this is always the first weekend in October. We were trying to play around with the late September, kind of be more traditional, but we said really for us, October is when everything really falls off a cliff. So one last push before the end of the season, and we've actually extended it into 2 days. So it was a 1-day party at first, but it was so fun, so popular, and it's such a big setup, honestly, that we figured let's make this a 2-day event. So Friday night, Saturday all day. We have 20 different breweries that join us. So it's part beer fest, part Oktoberfest celebration. We partner with the Bavarian Sports Club out of Toledo, and they come in, they do dancing and they MC everything. And they do the, I'll never remember how to say the word properly, but one of their signature dances, they actually chop wood while they dance.
Oh, wow.
And so they have this big log, and while they're dancing, they're chopping, and then once it breaks through, they all cheer and celebrate. And it's a great time. I mean, we have little mini games, and we have different contests that happen throughout the whole place, but it's just a huge 2-day celebration of everything, Bavarian Oktoberfest style. And
very nice.
And I was a big craft beer fan before we started. I loved going to beer fests. And so I said, if there's any way that we can involve Ohio breweries with what we're doing for that day, that appeals to me. It's one of my favorite days of the year. And so I said, let's bring, 10 breweries. And then the next year it was 15. And now we've kind of settled that 20's a really good number. And
Sure.
We try and rotate people out and, showcase all these fun Ohio breweries.
Absolutely. Well, how do you consider it a success each year? Do you look at attendance numbers, revenue, recognition outside of where you already were? I mean, what considers a successful event to you guys?
Oh man, it's a little of all of that. So the biggest thing I look at is revenue. I mean, that's for us, again, the whole point of having these. We want to celebrate what's fun and cool and bring people to the area, but at the end of the day, we have 3 months where we're making money, or 4 months-ish, in the summer. So we want to try and make sure that we're at least increasing revenue year after year. And for the most part, that's been the truth. 2021, when everyone came out of COVID, that might have been, all 3 of our festivals were absolutely off the charts. And I think people were cooped up and finally ready to be outside, and we offered this big space. And so I don't know that we'll ever hit 21 numbers again. I mean, I think we had, people-wise, I think we had about 3,000 people at each event.
Wow.
And we've kind of settled back down into like the 2,500 per event, since then. But, that's kind of we set goals. And so I'm hoping that at Apricot Fest, between we did 2 days this year, but we're trying to get about 3,000 people between the 2 days.
Okay.
QuinStock, we hope to get about 2,000 people. And Oastoberfest, we hope to get about 3,500 between the 2 days. So that's a good barometer for us.
Sure. What are like good marketing tools that you guys have found that work best? I mean, and I think I have a question later too about traditional advertising, but just the marketing side of things. Like, how much are you planning? Like, have you seen things that work, things that don't work, and what brings people in? Is it the fact that you've already done it and people word of mouth, or are you pushing it to places to try to pull people in? I mean, what are some key pieces there?
Yeah, we do. I would say 99% is social media.
Yeah.
So we do so much on Facebook. We create events. We partner with the people with the events. So any of our vendors or any of the, like the Bavarian Sports Club, we'll partner with them and they'll be a co-host. And so hopefully that spreads to their group as well. We'll do paid ads and things like that too. But we really try, like, in terms of, differentiated style marketing beyond just social media. We try and get people while they're here to see that we have these events coming up. So we'll have table toppers, we'll have posters inside. As you walk in, there's a giant sign, and there'll be a poster with the next upcoming event on the sign. And then, for QuinStock, I don't know if I would say we panicked, but I just felt like I didn't see the traction that we wanted to see going into it. And there's such a short time between Apricot Fest and QuinStock. It's like a 3-week span. So we wanted to make sure that we could do a last 2-week blitz. So we actually put it on a billboard out here. And I think that did a really good job for us. Of people came in. It was right at the busiest intersection of 53 and 163 right off of Route 2. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people saw it, and I think it really helped our year this year with QuinStock for sure.
Nice. Now, let's talk about the planning, because obviously you're planning 3 events in a little under 4 months, which a lot of people talk about, like, oh, we have a big thing every quarter.
Yeah.
So you're doing 4 events, working on one for 3 months. You guys are working on 3 events in 4 months.
Yeah.
How much planning does it take at the beginning? I mean, you're probably already planning next year's Apricot Fest right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the whole goal. Is because we have, so take a step back. We have a team. So Hope right now is our event coordinator. And we have another woman named Emily who's been helping out with the festival specifically. So Hope's doing a lot of like the on-site. If people are having a wedding or if they're a private party, she's dealing with a lot of that. But Emily is actually helping focus on just the festivals. So I kind of subcontract her out just to work on those 3 days, and she's working on it, throughout the entire year. And this is year 7 for us, so we kind of have, I don't want to say a full rinse and repeat, but we kind of know the schedule of how things are supposed to go, and if we want to make any changes, we can do that, and it's not that big of a deal. But for the most part, food trucks go in one place, band starts here. We kind of know the general flow of things. So it's gotten better. But it is a 12-month a year. If you want good bands, you got to book them early. If you want to make sure that, you get the vendors you want, they all book out months in advance. So this is something that we're looking at, right now for next year. Apricot Fest, we're already starting to plan for that. And again, luckily, this is where the winter being a little bit slower has its upsides, is where we can really take that winter time and do a lot of planning for the summertime. And then it's just a blitz. It's just summer chaos. And then, all right, let's plan for the summer.
Yeah, sure. And we kind of touched on this because I'm just going through my list of questions, but like, do you have different point people for each event? Or like you said, Hope is obviously kind of running things.
Yeah.
Because it's such a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
That is it just one person? Is it a team effort to like, you're doing this for every event, for one event?
Yeah.
How's that all kind of
right now?
out?
We just have Hope and Emily are the two leads, and so like I said, Emily kind of does the overall skeleton, the blueprint of everything.
Yeah.
Hope kind of runs the day-to-day on those days, and we have our front of house team. Tyler's been here for almost 5 years now. Mm-hmm. Our front of house manager. And we have a new GM, Megan, who's been helping out. So we got a full team ready to go. They all understand the game plan, and we have, a few months out, we start the first meeting of, okay, what's, Hope and Emily have an idea, but now we start communicating that with the rest of the staff. So a few months out, we all kind of get on the same page with where we're going with Apricot, then QuinStock, then Oastoberfest, and start scheduling real early.
When you're bringing people in, obviously you guys have, like you said, the rinse repeat kind of has become that way. You're bringing someone in, you're like, listen, it's going to be hell from May until October, but then you kind of get a break and you can kind of work on things slower. I mean, do you give them that heads up when they're coming in?
Absolutely. Megan laughs because she's like, when I first started, everyone just kept going, you don't know what you don't know what it is yet. Like she came in March and she was like, okay, like I got a feel for this, and we're like, no, it's a whole different beast once summer comes. And honestly, she's done a great job of staffing in a way that those summer days don't feel so chaotic. I mean, there's on any given summer day, we'll have 1,500 people here, if not 2,000 people here on site on the Saturday. Yeah. And so it's like, you can only do so much. You have 4 bars open. They're trying to get everyone served, but we have a really good crowd that they're here. It's not really like the restaurant atmosphere where people are sitting down and they're trying to turn and burn tables.
Right.
Our guests are here to relax and enjoy a day, and so so a lot of them come here early and stay for hours, and so that really helps alleviate kind of that chaos of a million people at one time, and then it's like it bubbles over. But no, we've done a really good job preparing people for that. Again, we've seen it over 7 years, and I think this year we've even added more tables and been able to control everything.
Awesome. And that, let's touch a little. There's 3 events, but is it the same demographic that you guys are shooting for? Is it
no.
Yeah. And how do you, since you know that, how do you market each one a little differently?
Yeah. So with Apricot Fest, that's more of a family-friendly, kid-centric one. I mean, we even have a kid zone down here with inflatables, bounce houses. Like we had a water slide and all kinds of fun things for kids to do, like little games and stuff. So we know our Apricot Fest crowd is kid-centric. We know it's family-friendly. We have vendors that are like a farmer's market. So we'll have vendors up front, and they'll kind of tailor towards that crowd. We had a really cool one this year who was making custom hats, and so she'd like print hats on demand with little patches on them and everything. Nice. And it was just such a cool concept for kids to go up and get. Like both of my older kids were able to get their own hats. Now they wear them every day. Like it's cool. But we really focus family friendly with that one, and then with QuinStock, it's more. For a while there, I was saying put in bay for a day because it's more just like a big party. It's we want to have rock music on the stage. We want to have people dancing. We'll bring out Jello shots. We'll bring out like cocktails, but normally that is not on the Twin Oast menu. Right. But it's supposed to be more of that 21 and up crowd, specifically at QuinStock. Now that's had a little bit of a leeway. We do a watermelon eating contest halfway through the day, so in between bands we always do a little contest, and so kids can join that, but really after like 6 p.m. it's an adult focused theme. And then Oastoberfest, that's more again my style, where it's like the beer geek crowd. People are coming in who really want to enjoy like cool beer culture. Now obviously we see people who come to all 3 events. But for the most part, it's like we got our family friendly, we have our kind of more 21 and up party crowd, and then we have more of the like the beer centric. We do a lot of like we have the marionettes where you got to pull up the beer and try and drink out of it. You know what I'm talking about? Yep. So we do a lot of things that are revolving around beer drinking, craft beer, and like that Bavarian style of partying.
Very cool. Now this was the question that I had written down when we're talking about promotion. There's a lot of, and a shout out to the Toledo area, because I think they do a lot of good coverage of local breweries in Northwest Ohio. And I'm sure with you guys a little farther east, about an hour of Toledo, that Cleveland even kind of gets involved for you guys. How much do you put towards traditional advertising? And not meaning like buying ads for TV, but like pushing out, inviting the media to come be out and be a part of it, either as a preview or the day of. I mean, how important has like those traditional avenues worked for you guys?
We're working on that a little bit still. So that's something that we've had kind of organically had people come in, and we've done a little bit of outreach for different news crews to come in and kind of do a little preview about it.
Yeah.
But that's something that I think we could definitely expand on. You know, we just started doing distribution in the Cleveland area as of early August. I mean, we've always done it for self-distro, but we signed with a distributor in the Cleveland area.
Oh, okay. And
so now, you know, our footprint should expand a little bit. So it'd be great to get someone from, you know, Fox 8 or whatever to come over. And I've had them come out and talk about other events in the past, but to focus specifically on those big three would be really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of it for us is it's like I said, it's social. It's we've had influencers. You know, we've done the Instagram influencers come out and try and build that kind of audience. And it's word of mouth. I mean, that's kind of in the game plan from day one, which was give people a really good experience, give them something that they enjoy, and let them tell their friends. And
sure.
So it's kind of how we plan to operate.
Sure. And this is just a sidebar off of that. When you mentioned Instagram influencers, like, what do you feel? I mean, like, it's crazy how much you have to think of social media outside of your own and be able to bring people in.
Right.
Like, are you guys finding people, like, looking at things? Do you have like a vetting system so that, you know, some guy in his backyard that, you know, him and his buddies are like trying to pitch to you, hey, come and get, you know, what is it like working on that avenue?
This Brewer Mag podcast is sponsored by Keg Logistics. Now's the perfect time to review your keg management strategy. Whether you're seeking a truly flexible keg rental program or intrigued by the seamless distribution freedom of paper fill, Keg Logistics is ready to craft a personalized solution for you, ensuring you receive the kegs you need precisely when you need them. For details, visit keglogistics.com/brewermag. Keg Logistics, modern solutions for keg efficiency.
We've done a little of both. So there are times where someone who's like a smaller channel, we might, if they're asking for beer or whatever, like, sure, I used to do that. You know what I mean? Like that was something that I did for fun.
I forgot about that.
I used to do the beer podcasting and all that. So, you know, for me, I love those kind of things where it's just a small guy who might only have 1,200 followers, and you're like, you know what, have some beer, enjoy it, whatever. But if we're looking to really wine and dine somebody, you know, especially we do this a lot with our igloos. Whenever we do the winter igloos, we'll have some bigger names come out. I say bigger, you know, for our area, not millions of followers, but some tens of thousands of followers come out, and they'll, you know, we'll buy them dinner if they come out and hang out in the igloos for a night. So, but yeah, we usually try and see what's their following, what kind of content do they produce, what's kind of their core demographic. You know, if it fits kind of where we're trying to look, then we know they're a good fit. And we'll go a little above and beyond for those kind of people. But I'm all for, you know, if you're just doing a beer review, like, cool, I'll send you beer. That's fun. Yeah.
And I think, I mean, one of the ones that probably hit for you guys, and I mean, I'd love to know kind of how you got, was when Peter King from Sports Illustrated showed up. Was that just off the cuff?
That was completely organic.
Yeah.
I had no idea that he was even here. I got a text from my brother-in-law with like, did you guys see this? I think, and we were reading the article, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, he was here, and I just probably walked past him 5 times. Didn't even know it.
Yeah.
Kind of one of those things. So, yeah, those are really fun when you see like the aftermath, and you're like, wow, I didn't even know those people were here.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, again, smaller entity than Peter King, but I don't know if you know Whale Pods. They make the beer shippers, right?
Yep.
All of a sudden, I got a notification from Whale Pods, and they were posting that they were down here, basically in the same chair, taking a picture here. And I was like, I didn't know you were here. We buy your stuff all the time. Like, we ship beer through with Whale Pods. Like, it's just cool that you know, people find us, and you just sometimes never know that they're here.
Yeah. Okay, let's get back to talking events, because that's what this podcast is all about. What's your ROI? Like, what do you see it as okay, we need to make money on it, we need to earn brand recognition? It's got to be, in my guess, like, these are money makers for you guys. Like, you are looking to help fund the rest of the year, right?
I mean, yeah. You know, without being too transparent, like, Q1 is not great.
Yeah.
I think it isn't for beer people across the world.
Period. Yes.
Q4 is okay.
Yeah.
Depending on how, you know, the real problem with us is that we fluctuate in size so much. You know, we have 100 seats in the wintertime if we don't include the igloos.
Sure.
And we have over 500 seats in the summer. And so, we have to be able to have the capacity to brew for the 500 seats, but I don't need that same capacity for only the 100 seats.
Yeah.
And so we have a lot of overhead, and these events are huge to be able to, like you said, kind of get our squirrel fund for the winter put away.
Sure.
But I do see them too as, we've used the whole flywheel approach, right? So if we can get that momentum moving, that it feeds all the other cycles of that wheel. So having great events, having a good product, having good service, being able to see us out in distribution should all feed each other. And having these events to us is one way that we say we can create evangelists that way. And if you come here and have a great time at Twin Oast, you're probably going to go see us on the shelf, and you're going to say, okay, there's nostalgia there. I'm going to pick up at Old Ohio. Like to us, that's the goal of when we get people here, is to try and get them to fall in love with the brand and then also purchases elsewhere. And if we're hoping distribution does the same thing in reverse, where if they love the liquid in the package, they're going to say, well, hell, this is only an hour down the road. Let's go check it out. Mm-hmm. And then hopefully they fall in love and keep coming back. So those events, even if we don't hit our revenue targets or whatever, if we get new people here and give them a great experience, that's a huge win.
Yeah. Well, and we touched on Oastoberfest, how it's kind of your beer festival.
Yeah.
And that beer festivals are tough nowadays. Like, it's hard to be able to pull people that have seen a beer festival for 15 years. Yes. They know what they're getting. What's the future of beer festivals for craft beer? Like, do you think is like, and do you guys, I know, but do you guys feel that you have to reinvent yourself every single year almost? Or do you think because you guys already kind of have that in with an Oastoberfest feel, that it helps kind of sustain what you guys do? Like, if you were just setting up a beer festival in May or June,
it wouldn't have the same pull.
Right.
Yeah. I think what we do specifically, I like to really showcase Ohio. Mm-hmm. So I try and pull, there are some times where it's like, hey, we have brewery friends in Toledo that I know, and like they are always going to get an invite or whatever the case may be. But I try and pull from all over Ohio if we can. And I really try and pull people who have unique offerings. Like, I'm really sad. I just heard the news Listerman closed up shop, because they were one that we went down to the OCBA conference in Cincinnati, popped over to Listerman on a whim, and like started just shooting the shit with their crew. Yeah. Like, got a really good bond, and then they came up and they were a huge draw because people in this area can't get Listerman. Yeah. And so, it's sad to see that they won't be able to return, but we try to bring people from not just Toledo and Cleveland, who our normal customers can get almost any day. Mm-hmm. We try to bring people from Columbus and Cincinnati, and if we can get down to Athens, just cover the whole state. Yeah. But then we also ask, we do want you to be free to bring an Oastoberfest style beer, but we don't necessarily want 20 Oastoberfests here. No. You know what I mean? That's not a really fun beer fest. So we try and tell people, bring a beer that really makes you, and bring a beer that you're proud of and excited to showcase. And so I think that helps get people away from bringing cores, because again, cores are everywhere. Yep. People can try new things and have different interesting takes on what a beer can be. I think Quenched and Tempered was last year or the year before, brought a cherry triple, and then they mixed it with something else, but like they were doing little half and halves at their booth, and it became a huge hit. And it was like, was not expecting that to happen, but it turned out to be like a really fun thing for people. So I think giving the brewers a little creativity to be able to showcase their brand, I think a lot of beer fests that I've gone to have gotten just watered down with, you're going to get Oberon. Okay, well, I can get Oberon anywhere I want to be. You know what I mean?
Right.
You got to really have something special. I think that's why the OCBA, the Winter Warmer Fest, does really well, because they bring in these different unique beers that you can't just get, on the shelf. So I think as long as you're giving people a good experience, it'll work. But also, they are a little oversaturated, and if they don't have a good personality, they don't have the right, reasoning for being there and vibe and all that, it's a tough draw.
Yep.
It's a tough draw.
Absolutely. Well, we'll got questions after. I don't know if you've watched the podcast, but we always end with fun ones that I just make up off the top of my head. But the last business one that I have, if you could give one piece of advice to another brewery owner that's looking to launch a large scale event and hasn't done it before, what would it be?
So we always play the game of pretend you're a customer. Yeah. And so this is like, we do this with every festival a month out just to make sure we have all of our pieces buttoned up.
Yeah.
And so it's pretend you're a customer. Okay, where do I enter? Where do I walk in? Who do I talk to? I mean, because we have 2 entries. One's a pre-sale and one's a regular entry. And that has worked, and there's times where it hasn't worked because we haven't had the signage proper. So then, okay, now how do I get a beer? You know, is it different? At Oastoberfest, we do punch cards. Where do I buy the punch cards? And so we really try and put ourselves in the customer's shoe and walk through every single aspect of, from the time I arrive to the time I leave, is everything buttoned up? And that has helped us tremendously just in kind of planning those small details. I would say kind of along those same lines, think of it as a vendor.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of times where vendors come in and they're like, oh, we assumed you had a power supply for us. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. And so we've had to have, you know, our teams now knows that they have to go ask what power needs are, what their water needs are, what the ice needs are ahead of time, so that we can plan that properly, where to put them on the property to be able to get the proper utilities. So those kind of things were the day of, there's always going to be a hiccup.
Yep.
Something will always bite you in the ass, but whatever you can do to minimize that is going to make for a much smoother day.
Awesome. Well, we couple weeks away still, and
yeah.
even by the time this runs, Oastoberfest will be coming up in October. So like this can be the promotion. Who's going to be there? What are you guys going to do?
Oh wow!
Anything that's off the top of your head? Yeah, I know. Like what you remember off the top of your head.
So again, always need to shout out Bavarian Sports Club.
Yeah,
that's a big thing. They're going to do all their dancing. I think they're actually doing. They said they're ending the night with a bang, and that was their tease.
Oh boy!
So I think they have something new going on this year, which will be fun. But like I said, so we always have Chardon Polka Band is our headliner. They're fantastic, and we always try to do some traditional oompa kind of bands, but a little more upbeat. And so in between bands, we'll play games and we'll do contests. We did a German spelling bee. That's always fun. We do a sausage toss. We do the marionette contest, cream puff eating contest, all kinds of things like that. And then we usually have a couple of vendors as well. So last year we had people selling different like jams and jellies and honey and stuff like that. We have axe throwing. So on one of the beer garden that's down here on this lower level, it'll be right here with all the tents, and then at the end cap we have an axe throwing mobile tent come through.
Perfect.
And so a couple years ago we had a guy came dressed as a full knight throwing axes. It was awesome.
Oh,
it was great.
That's awesome.
So it's just a lot of fun. There's a lot of things that happen that go on. Obviously, we're gonna have plenty of Prost, which is our Marzen style.
You've been talking more.
Will did a great job.
It is. It's fantastic.
He did a great job with this one. So every year, it's a fan favorite, and it does not disappoint.
Absolutely. Well, I'm almost out of beer because you've been talking the whole time, so I just get to sit here and sip. So I'll give you take a few sips here. I do like to end things for fun, and I don't have the internet on, so I can't pop it up. So I'm just going to make stuff up off the top of my head from what I remember. You guys do have, pizza here.
Yes.
So the pizza question's easy: the sauce, the cheese, or the toppings. What makes a good pizza?
That is not easy.
Easy to me because I remember it.
Oh, you remember? So I'm gonna say the toppings.
Yeah.
So long story. I don't need to go into this, but I'm going to. So our pizza kitchen over here, we ended up getting that whole thing built out right about March of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent a lot of time when we were closed down as much as we could making pizza. I sat back there in the Cory team and made pizza and tried to figure out the recipes and tried to figure out different combinations. And we found a sauce we liked, we found a cheese blend we liked, but it really does come down to if you have good ingredients on top, it makes a huge difference. So like the pepperonis that cup up when they bake, not canned mushrooms that are slimy. We do the fresh wild farm mushrooms. All those things I think go a little step further than just a traditional pizza. But the real answer is whatever Village Idiot does. I mean,
Amen, brother.
that is the answer.
This is a national podcast, and here we are talking local. Village Idiot is. I just had it on Friday, me and my wife went over there and get a black label for $2. It's a dive bar, live music venue with some of the greatest pizza.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if they put a little magic dust on top, whatever it is.
It's fantastic.
So
And I love it. And I love
it's a frozen crust. I've seen them make it. It's a
Really?
frozen crust. At least when I saw them. I don't want to put them on blast.
You're telling secrets.
But I watched through the window and I was like, no shit. Frozen crust and it's that good. Okay, cool.
Fantastic. All right, I got to think of another question for you. Let's talk brewing fails, because obviously you were a home brewer before. You've talked beer, a lot in your life, but like, what are some either failures on your own, stuff that you guys had happen here early on that you learned from? Like, what is something that sticks out in your mind that has kind of shaped how Twin Oast has gone forward?
Rutherford Be Clear. We have a hazy IPA called Rutherford Be Haze, and a couple years ago, this probably isn't the worst thing because it still tasted great.
Mm-hmm.
But a couple years ago, somebody, and it's just like all of the fluke things had to happen. Somebody ran into a temperature probe that was sitting in a tank and bent it, and that caused the temperature of our yeast to be a little bit too low or high, whichever one it was. We weren't getting good readings on our yeast prop. And then we put it into the tank, and it didn't ferment well. And this beer that is always a fan favorite hazy IPA turned out clear after like 1 week of being in fermentation. And so we had to sit there and tell everybody, listen, it still tastes great. Everyone, I'm not happy with the way it looks, but it just turned out to be a clear hazy, and that was a little weird, but it taught us a lot. We had to learn how to make sure that we had the proper pitches in there. We had to make sure that we were doing double due diligence on all of our temperature gauges and making sure those were in spec. But also, I think it really just reinforced with Will about how he's a big believer in biotransformation and doing a mid-firm hop.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he blames the fact that the yeast didn't ferment quite as vigorously as normal, so he kind of dry hopped it a little later, and then he didn't quite get that stable haze. And so those kind of things that are just random flukes of life that taught us how to be a little bit more precise with what we're doing.
Awesome. All right, last one. You're a brewery owner. You've been around beer. What is a brewery you wish you had opened?
Oh man, a brewery I wish, like, currently existing, not one that like I could make up in my mind, right? Like,
right, exactly. Someone that's out there right now that you just admire so much, and like, man, I wish I could have. Or a beer. Maybe it's just even one beer that a brewery does.
I think this is probably the only reason I don't want to tell is because I think it's the cop-out answer everyone has is Dogfish Head. Because
Sierra Nevada, I get a lot too.
Okay,
yeah.
Sam Calagione is like my idol. I met him one time and my hands were shaking and I couldn't even get a word out. But just what he does and his creativity and his mindset and having a brand personality and having like a real belief in what he's doing, I think just goes such a long way. Like, I don't love every beer they put out, but at least they have an ethos.
Right.
Like, at least they know what they're trying to do. They have a culture behind it. And I love everything they do over there in terms of the brewery itself. I think it's just so cool and so monumental in the development of the craft beer culture. Like, that is, to me, one. The brewery, I think, if I could, a little 1A would be probably New Glarus. We try to model ourselves after New Glarus as much as we can in terms of making great two-style beer, being a destination, hopefully getting our fruited sour program into bottles here this year. We have some wild culture beer in wine barrels with peaches and apricots I'm excited about.
Nice.
But like, the way that they've been able to say, hey, we're going to be Wisconsin only, and we're going to really focus on what's local and get people to love the liquid in the bottle, and then really let that expand. I mean, that's been a model that we've used since we've opened. So those two would be 1 and 1A.
Not one's too bad to model yourself after. So awesome. Well, thanks for having us here.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. I enjoyed being on. It's always fun.
This Brewer Mag podcast is sponsored by Keg Logistics. Now is the perfect time to review your keg management strategy. Whether you're seeking a truly flexible keg rental program or intrigued by the seamless distribution freedom of paper fill, Keg Logistics is ready to craft a personalized solution for you, ensuring you receive the kegs you need precisely when you need them. For details, visit keglogistics.com/brewermag. Keg Logistics, modern solutions for keg efficiency.